All right, let's go out to Tampa, Florida, and talk to the great Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Dr. John, how are you?
We're good, man. What's happening in your world?
Oh, not much. Just trying to keep it together.
Aren't we all, man? Aren't we all? What's up, brother? How can I help?
So, I've been listening to your show for a long time, and one of the things you always tell people to do when they're struggling in their relationships and their marriage is, turn all the lights on, have a conversation about what's going on, and try to find a way moving forward. And for me and my wife, she's been struggling with depression and anxiety for most of our marriage. And I've had those conversations multiple times. I've tried to go to counseling with her. I've gone to counseling myself. And she just keeps getting darker, and it just keeps getting worse. And I don't know how to love and support her when things just aren't getting better.
What does she say? Thank you for your heart, by the way, man. It's a pretty amazing heart you have, dude.
Well, thank you.
What does she say when you turn the lights on and you say, "Hey, how can I love you?" What does she say?
Sometimes she'll say, "Yeah, we need to move forward. We need to look at counseling. We need to look at changing some things," and then it doesn't happen. Other times she says, "I'm just not good enough. You'd be better off without me."
That was the language I was wondering about. It sounds like she's done. And you said something important. I tell people to turn the lights on and stop the music, not so we can all move forward together. That comes next. That's step 2. Step 1 is look at the mess we've created. Look at the dance we're doing together. Do we want to keep doing this? And if you both agree, oh my gosh, we did not mean for the party to get this out of control. Yes, we got to make some changes. Then we start talking about how do we move forward together.
Okay.
So when I say it sounds like she's done, does that ring true to you, or do I sound crazy? And I'm not. I don't have a vested interest in being right. I'm really asking you.
Yes and no. There are times when she's in the dark places. It seems like she's just done. She wants to walk away, and she doesn't want to be involved with us or the kids, me and the kids anymore. And then after a period of her just kind of being by herself for a while, then she turns around and everything's fine. And when I try to have conversations in those times, it's like that past conversation never happened. She doesn't even recognize that it happened. So in those good days, it's fine.
Is she bipolar? Has she been diagnosed with bipolar disorder?
She has not. She's not been diagnosed with anything. But it seems like depression and anxiety, maybe even bipolar.
I think it would be important for her to go get a true psychological evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I am frustrated by the diagnostic system, but sometimes it's very, very important.
Yeah.
Because my initial question is, what is her body trying to tell her by being anxious and depressed all the time? And what I'm hearing is you got 2 healthy kids, is that right? 3 healthy kids?
Yeah.
You're probably not a perfect husband, but be honest with me. Are you a pretty good husband? You try pretty hard?
I try.
Okay.
Sometimes I succeed.
Are you... I was going to say, sounds like us all. Do you scream and yell in the house? Do you punch holes in the sheetrock?
I haven't punched a hole in the sheetrock for about 10 years, but I do scream on occasion.
Okay. We're done with that today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have your word? You're done with that?
Yes.
Screaming in a house is what children do. We're done with that. Okay. Do you cheat on her?
Absolutely not.
Do you go to work?
No, I work from home.
Do you have a job? That's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Okay. So you provide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wonder if something bigger is at play.
It seems like it.
Okay.
It seems like there's just something she's struggling with, and I don't know how to help.
Okay. Here's the thing. You can't unless she invites you in.
Mm-hmm.
And if it becomes sinister or dark, or she's hurting herself, or she's hurting you, or she's hurting the children, you have to take action to keep people safe, which is different than trying to, quote unquote, fix your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Has she ever been suicidal?
She has mentioned it on occasion.
Okay. What does that mean? Mentioned it like, I wish I just wasn't here, or last night I almost took my life.
More like mentioned if I just wasn't here.
Okay. Would she be open to going to meet with a psychologist and get an evaluation?
I've talked about it a time or two, and when we have the conversations, she says she will, but then she doesn't want to follow through on it.
Okay. It might be important for you to make an appointment.
Okay.
And she's going to have to fill out paperwork for that appointment, but I think it's important for you to sit down and say, I'm now scared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared I'm going to lose you. I'm going to lose this home. I'm going to lose my family. And I'm not going down without a fight. And even if you have to offer as well, I'm going to go get a psychological evaluation for me. I want to be better at this. I want you to come and get one too. You've said you would in the past. I've made us an appointment and I've taken off of work. I will drive. Okay?
Yeah.
If you have somebody that you love and they are in a very dark place, depression is so, so real. I don't talk about depression a lot because it manifests differently than anxiety does, even though they're on the same trend line. When people talk about depression, they often use words like pain because the parts in the brain that process emotional pain also process physical pain. It is a disaster. True depressive disorders. Okay?
Yes.
And so it's easy if you don't have depression to look and say, just make the call.
Yeah.
And they look at you with that look in their eye and they say, my body won't make the call, right?
Yeah, I know that look.
And yeah, you know that. So similar, if you saw her drowning, you would jump in and pull her out of the water. Then, and sometimes I'm going to make the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I think, and often people don't want to go alone. They don't want to be the weird, isolated one. Cool. I'll get a workup too. That's fine. And it's going to be very expensive and it's going to be worth every penny of it for our family.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. That's something I can do.
Okay? But
yeah.
when you sit down with her, the conversation has to be about Steve and Steve's fear and worry and concern for the family. And your concern over her health and her peace. Okay?
Okay. That might be where I've struggled in the past. It's been more about what I've seen in her, not
right
necessarily how I am.
And my guess is people have been telling her whole life what she should be doing differently or better.
Mm-hmm.
And when she gets it from the guy that she loves, her defense mechanisms just take over.
That makes sense.
And some people's defense mechanisms send them to war and they scream and fight and punch and kick back. And some people's defense mechanisms just shut the whole thing down.
Yeah.
She come from a pretty tough upbringing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, her parents were difficult.
Yeah. Her body may have put a GPS pin in mom and dad, and that GPS pin is sounding every alarm every time you enter into that space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe,
makes a lot of sense.
Maybe you start the conversation a little bit differently. Say, I've been trying to fix you for a long time, and I don't think you're broken. I think you're my lovely, beautiful wife. And I'm sorry for not trusting you and your body.
Mm.
She might look at you like, what did you do with my husband? Where is he? Where's Steve? But I think if you make it about you, I'm scared because I love you so much. I can't even breathe. And I am scared for how you feel. I'm scared for our kids. I'm scared for me. I'm scared for my marriage.
Yeah.
And I'll go to hell and back to come get you. Will you go to the doctor with me? Okay.
Yes.
You think
Sounds like
would she respond to that? That feels safer.
it feels safer. She might respond to that. It's at
Okay.
least something different, you know.
Okay. And maybe you want to do something gangster? Write her a letter and read it to her.
Yeah.
And then let
That's
her
probably
have it. Because sometimes a brain that's struggling with depression, it has to go through a warbly processing center that can take even the most lovely sentiments, the most lovely kind things, and twist them around like, oh, you said that because you hate me. Right?
yeah.
And so
Yes.
when you write a letter to somebody who's struggling with depression and you read it to them, their body feels that safety even when their mind is telling them it's not safe. And then you leave that letter and it gives them a chance to go back and go back and go back.
Something tangible.
Yeah. And over time, that's actually not what he said. He said he'll be here forever because he loves me so much. He didn't say I was crazy. He didn't say he was going to leave me. He said he was scared because he loves me so much.
That's a good idea.
Okay. And it also, if you're like me, I get these big grandiose moments. I'm going to have this big conversation and then I get all nervous and I screw it up. Right. So writing it down sometimes gives me some clarity, a path forward. But my friend, Steve, I'm so proud of you, dude, for loving your wife. And I'm proud of you for looking in the toolkit you got and say, okay, I've been trying to hang drywall with this hammer and a ruler. I need different tools because this isn't cutting it. And I appreciate that. Give this a shot and don't hesitate to call me back, man. And by the way, you might make this big presentation, read this thing to her, tell her you love her, tell her you're scared for you and that you are scared for her health and you want to know how you can love her better. You've made the appointments with a psychologist to get a workup. If you can't afford both of them, that's fine. You can call and get her set up. And she might say, I'm not ready to go. I love you. I want to get together once a week, just a quiet, private date with us. And I'm going to send you both Questions for Humans decks cards as well. I'm going to send them to you, the couples cards, and I want y'all just to use them. You don't have to talk about anything that's going wrong in the house. All you're doing is slowly connecting. You're building a bridge underneath a car hanging over an overpass. You're building a second bridge so that when the big one falls, you got something to catch. You're just building connection. And then you could say, hey, have you thought about going to that appointment? Still on the books. Yeah, I'll go. I'll drive. Yeah, I'll go. And now we're in business. She's lucky to have you, brother. Call me anytime. Anytime.